Spread my swamp, 100 Night, is a phrase you will hear often in this game called The Witch and the 100 Night. This is a bizarre, very bizarre game, and one of the very few games I've actually beaten to completion. The story in this game is just insane. Every character feels like you get to know them. While the story is freaking fantastic, there are a few things that do bother me about the main gameplay. First off, no real fun playing a game if you can't see your character. Now, this typically happens in the earlier stages as you're going through a forest area, and you actually see trees in the foreground, but as you try to walk your character around and move the camera in a circle, which I'll be honest with you, you become very disoriented very easily in this game. There's a lot of times where if you don't know the map, you end up double backing on yourself if you're not consistently looking at it. Not only that, like I said, you can't see your character half the time because you can only tilt the camera so far. I'm not sure why this is. Maybe they didn't want you to see too far ahead, or maybe they didn't want to render it. But that's probably my biggest complaint about this game, is that there's times where you just can't see your character clearly, and you're not sure if you're getting hit or if you're hitting people because you can't clearly see it. Aside from that, this game is absolutely fantastic. Everything from the soundtrack to the characters to the storyline. What kept me coming for more is just how bizarre the story was. In short, you're just going around and spreading this swamp so this one swamp witch can leave, because she can't leave the swamp or else she'll die. Very bizarre, but just the cast of characters you come across, they get deep into every character. You feel like you know them by the end of the game. Even by the middle of the game, you get to know and feel like you know every character. And you don't see that in too many games, and this game seems to do it flawlessly. Now, I will say, there are times where you just want to get on with the gameplay, and you're sitting there reading or listening to practically an audio or visual novel, as some of these scenes last from anywhere between 2 minutes to freaking 25 minutes, depending on what part of the story you're at. And it doesn't matter if you're at the beginning, middle, or end. Sometimes they can drag on for a little bit longer, and all you want to do is get on with the game. I guess you could say that's another small thing, is you'll get a bunch of dialogue and they'll say, "Go do it, 100 Night." You walk 5 more feet, kill 2 more things, and then all of a sudden, bam, they hit you with another text dialogue. On certain times like that, it does seem to slow the game down, but the payoff is way worth it. This game is a very unique game. One that, as far as storyline goes, what initially got me into this was the character Metalia, which is your main character that or your protagonist 100 Night is its owner to. She tells you to go wherever, and Metalia's attitude is just, it's hard to describe other than, just someone who's really bitchy, has no real reason why they say or do anything, and yet that's what keeps you wanting more. At least that's what kept me wanting more, as I just kept seeing this character and was like, this just makes no sense. Everything was making sense, but not making no sense. It was like watching a bizarre movie, to where the only reason why you're watching it is you're like, there's got to be something to this. It's weird enough to where you don't want to turn it off, but it's not weird enough to where you just turn it off. It always leads to something, and everything will gradually build upon itself. Probably one of the strangest things that's happened in this game is when you beat this game has got like 13 or 14 chapters, but each time this game plays out almost like a fucking play. It's the easiest way to put it, but I mean, there's times where I was really confused. I was about 3 hours, not even 3 hours deep in it, 2 hours deep in it, and a chapter ended and they rolled credits. Now, at this point, I was extremely pissed, because I was thinking to myself, they just rolled credits, and I spent $40 on this game. Why, for a fucking 2-hour game? But there was much more to it, because it left it open-ended, and I was like, what the fuck is this? But this game originally was not on the PlayStation 4. It originally debuted on the PS3, and then they ported to the PS4 with the Reveal Edition, is what this is. The Reveal Edition has got a couple of different things on it. First of all, you can play as Metalia, but only in this other dungeon mode that they have going on, and she's a summon, and you can only play with her for so long. So, I mean, is it really a moot point to get it? Not really. I want to say that dungeon mode is something else they added to. You know, it's just another side quest type thing. I mean, there's actually a story to it, which I was surprised. Is it good? I mean, the side quest is all right, but I mean, the main story is where is where everything is at. And by the time you get to the end of this game, you'll be amazed at everything. You'll want more. And you just want more and more and more of this game. Even after it ends, you want to play it again. It's just that good of a game. Now, with that being said, they are in the works to release Witch and the 100 Knight 2. But as of right now, I've only been able to find a Japanese release. And it's actually coming out this month, I believe. But I've seen so far only a Japanese release. They haven't announced the North American release yet. I believe when this game was originally released on the PS3, it came out in 2013 in Japan, and I believe it was released in 2014 in the US, and then it was ported to the PS4 a year later in the US as well. So I'm not sure when Witch and the 100 Knight 2 comes out, but this game is chock full of, if you like dream RPGs where it's a hack and slash, it's strategic. I don't know how else to describe it other than this. It's the story that really drives you into it. Like I said, the gameplay is annoying at times, but at least during the boss battles, they give you a nice open field where there is nothing in your way. But I'll be honest with you, there's a part where you're in the sewers in this game, and you can't see your character at all without reorienting the screen. And it gets really annoying, and it really sucks. But aside from that, I would probably rate this game a solid 7. I want to say 10, but just the camera angles and a few other little quirks with, the drag-on, dialogue text really kind of drags the game's pace down a bit. But aside from that, if you want a very oddball, and I do mean oddball adventure, every time I've described this game to anyone, the description is always the same, but their reaction is always like, what the fuck? But their reaction is like, what the fuck, I have to get this. This just seems like a winner to them. I mean, it's each his own, but I mean, there's no other way to describe it. Like I said, everything is perfect. The art style is beautiful. The music is beautiful in this game, and trust me, it fits every scene that you see in this game. It speeds up, slows down when it needs to. Basically, it's just what you expect from this publisher. So, I mean, there you have it. That's the only thing I could say is this is the only thing to expect from this publisher. NIS did a fantastic job with this. I mean, I've seen a couple other reviews, actually one other review that said this game was absolutely horrible. I didn't agree with that, mainly because I didn't really play through it too much. This isn't a full-on, this is not a short game. In total, it took me about 85 to 95 hours to completely beat. So, I mean, this is a long game, so it's not just a short beat-em-up and you're done. And which I liked. I wasn't sure what I was going into when I actually originally got this game. I honestly very rarely buy games based on a trailer. And I seen a trailer for it probably about a year ago, and I put that on my list saying, if I see this game anywhere, I pick it up. Walked into a local game store, they had one copy left. I snagged that, and it's the last physical copy I've ever seen on a store shelf. So aside from that, you just got to basically download it. It's totally worth the money. If you can find it for less than $40, great. But if you want to pay the full 40, it's totally worth it. You'll definitely get your money's worth. I would say play this game. Witch and the 100 Knight is a solid game that'll keep you wanting and keep you coming back for more.